need you because I am a theater person, so that means I'm not very good with electronics. All right, thank you very much, everybody, for sharing. So now I will move on a little bit, and please don't make this just me talking. At any point, we don't have to wait for you Q&A. If there is something that triggers your attention, if you want to underline something or ask something, please just raise your hand and put the question, and we will try to make this as interactive as possible. So I would like to go from, because obviously there are very different backgrounds and locations and experiences and everything, but you are all attracted by this program. So I would like to go a little bit just quickly regarding LMU and LMU's identity. Loyola Marymount University is one of the several across the world, actually. Loyola Universities is a Jesuit school based in a Jesuit tradition of three major things that are part of our mission, which is the encouragement of learning, always learn, and learn more. It is the education of the whole person, which we definitely cherish within the theater department in all levels. From undergraduate, but it's a part of the university mission. We approach comprehensively and try not to train only this part or that part. We are trying to include the whole person as we are. And there's the service of faith and the promotion of justice with a special emphasis on the social justice. We proud ourselves regarding various social justice initiative issues, involvement of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and everything else that comes with it. Loyola Marymount University is definitely dedicated in that sense. Our theater department is actually, the full name of the department is Department of Theater Arts and Dance. We are sisters departments who are sharing facilities and some of the faculty. Our undergraduate program is here for years, and our graduate program that you're all showing interest for in performance pedagogy is a recent, as I said, started in 2018. It is a theater department which is growing rapidly in the last, especially 10 to 15 years. The number of our majors almost tripled in that period. There is a lot of interest shown. It's a liberal arts program. It educates as a whole person. We are offering BA in Theater Arts and Dance, and we are offering this MFA in Performance Pedagogy. We are the pedagogy program is there because there is obviously a huge need, for the lack of a better word. I don't like that word, but it is. It's a market on the market for people with terminal degree, professionals, pedagogues with the terminal degree in the field. And when we started our program, I'm going to improvise here a little bit, that I don't think there were more than 4 or 5 in the School of the United States. Now there is a few more. There is a program in the University of Pittsburgh. There was a program in LSU, and we were right there. The idea of the program is primarily, first thing that we offer once when you get degree, it's MFA in Performance Pedagogy, means that you have a terminal degree in the field, which means that you are certified with your master's degree, that you can teach on any level in the field, meaning from work with children, as some of you said that you do, all the way up to the college level and to the graduate level, meaning that you can teach on the entire scale. And I have to say, one of the observations, because we have some history now, a few generations of students already graduated, they went out there into that market with this degree. It seems that the degree is very employable. It seems that when potential employers, meaning colleges, schools, various organizations, when they see that degree on your resume, MFA in Performance Pedagogy, not just MFA in Performance or MFA in Directing or MFA in Musical Theater, more traditional theater master's degrees, terminal degrees, they do apparently get you the door open for an interview, and then up from there, it's really up to you. How is it going to go? We also don't just give a piece of paper. We give a full comprehensive training, which is really hands-on, but we will be talking about that a little bit later in more detail. One of the things we pride our program is really small class sizes, personal attention. I will say that the largest class that I taught, and I teach three classes in the program, depends when and what. And they're all hands-on practical classes. One is teaching acting, the other one is techniques in actor coaching, and the third one is teaching specialty acting class. The biggest number of students I had was 7. They usually vary between 4 and 6, something like there. So you do get a lot of personal attention and hands-on practical work. The second thing, we do offer an opportunity to both teach and TA in the program, meaning to teach beginning acting classes for non-majors, which is our students like to say a difficult beast to conquer, because you're working with a slightly bigger number of students, up to 14, maybe sometimes 18 in some cases, but mostly 14, with the students who are taking beginning acting class as their core curriculum class that fulfills certain flags for them and core requirements. So these are the students who usually never acted. They are majoring in engineering, in biology, in philosophy, in language, in engineering, in science, but they do want to try themselves in that field. And we do give opportunity to our MFA candidates to teach one of those classes throughout the course of the 3 years that they are here. I believe that you get that opportunity at the beginning of your second year and on. The second thing is TAing opportunity. I don't think there is one single student so far, or MFA candidate, who did not have an opportunity to be a teaching assistant to one of people like myself, people who are faculty here and who teach for a while now. We give that opportunity. All you need to do is get in contact with a faculty member, express the interest, and then find the opportunity in your schedule and stuff. And that, of course, goes towards your credit. So you can both teach and work as a teaching assistant. We also offer something which is the individualized course of study. Many classes can be crafted, especially if you come a little bit later in the program, and when it comes to your thesis, which is a requirement under the program, is your master thesis that you have to work, which is practical work. You can individualize that. You can make it towards your interest. You can also propose various courses that you would like to try. I actually, for example, had an opportunity to work with the student as an independent study, which is also an opportunity that students have over here on intimacy choreography with the Black voice, with the Black actor's voice, which was a very interesting and revealing. I think I learned much more in that field than the student. Actually, I can say that. We also offer a possibility of being admitted at any time. It's not just fall admittance into the program. You can be admitted in the fall, in the spring, or in the summer. You can start your program anytime and then customize it in that sense. And we also offer credentialing options with education, etc. So these are the things that we believe make our program fairly special, that you have all of this opportunity in one place, and that all of them are meant to make it as individualized, as hands-on, and as personalized as possible. Are there any questions regarding any of these things that I just threw out at all of you at once? Yes, no?
No.
Yes, Matt.
No, what you're
oh no,
what you said is
Diana. Okay,
Diana. I'm sorry. No, what you said is very clear on what you're offering. Now I live in the Bay Area, and I wondered if it's possible to attend classes remotely, because I can't afford to live in the Los Angeles area at this time. Now, when it comes to teaching assistants, it's like, would I be able to come down and stay with friends and do like a semester of teaching assistants to get that credit?
Some of the classes can be attended online, and some are structured like that, but some of them are too practical to be the whole program is not structured as an online program only. So that could be difficult to structure a program fully online. I don't think we have an example of that. So it is a very practical hands-on program, and many classes are practical. For example, I'm teaching a class right now, which is a techniques in actors coaching. It's a coaching actors class in which there is a lot of work with our undergraduate students. I teach undergraduates classes, so then we bring some of our undergrads to work with the grads and coaching them in their monologues or scene study. So I think that could be somewhat difficult to organize a fully online attendance.
Would it be possible then to structure some of it online, some online, and then
some classes can definitely be conducted online. Some of them can, but the program is
and then somewhere I find a place to stay, and then attend.
I mean, there is I will say this, we do have an opportunity. I mean, the program is, if you go full-time, the program is 3 years long. Basically, you need to fill 60 credits. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But we do offer a part-time options. And a part-time, you can structure it anyway to last from 4 to 7 years. You can make a stop and then continue. So in that kind of combination, perhaps. But there is a number of classes for which you would have to be here in person.
No, I understand. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's where we can make arrangements.
It can be talked to. I would have to go and individually present the situation, and then see what are the options there. But maybe some kind of part-time option and stuff that could be possible. But
no, I would find a way to attend the ones in person that I could.
You would have to do that, but you will find a number of classes would demand that, and because, for example, if you are teaching a class, that class is happening twice per week, for example, or once per week for 2.5 hours. So
yes, then I'd have to be there.
Going back and forth can work out to be, knowing both Bay Area and LA area can end up being even more expensive than locating yourself in one position. So when I'm saying, it's
so
probably
if I'm teaching a class, I've got to be there.
Yes.
Yes. I no. If I'm teaching, I got to be there. I know that. It's easier to be there.
Yes. But anyhow, your program is not structured as a fully online program. I don't think it would work in that sense. Any other questions at this point?
You muted yourself,
And I'm back. Hi. Let's talk a little bit now, if there are no other questions on this. There is? Yes.
Wait. Oh, gosh. Am I muted or not muted? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
We can hear you.
You're good.
Because this is performance art, when the students what classes require an audition through this? Is that generally for your seniors that would have to audition to take a particular class, or as they level up, acting 1, acting 2? I mean, at what point the more advanced students have to audition for something besides a play that you're going to be doing for the semester or something like that? Any classes like that?
So you are talking about our undergraduate students, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Our undergraduate students, there is no, the only audition that is required is when they are applying for the program. They have to send a recorded tape to be accepted in the program. Audition is one of the requirements. Audition tape, that's viewed. Then, as you said, the auditioning, we have a full season in our 2-3 spaces, depends how you want to see it. We have a full season in 2 main theaters that we have. We usually produce 6 shows throughout the year, and then we also have a summer Shakespeare festival. We have a lot of things going on a campus. These auditions are open for everybody, not just for the theater majors and minors, but anybody on campus can audition for them. And we had students getting parts who are not in the theater program occasionally. So they're auditioning for that. It is counting as a performance practicum class when they end up in the show. So that would be class for them. And the only other class that I think that they need to audition is when they are seniors, they need to audition for the senior showcase class. We're offering a showcase class for the seniors so that they can, present themselves to the industry. We are located in Los Angeles, so they can be seen. That starts some of the restructuring actually as we speak. But that's the only one. They do not audition for anything else. They have their advisors. They have to fulfill their credits, which is 120 credits to graduate in 4 years, and they advance. So basically, as you're going from the number of freshmen every year, we have at any given moment right now, I believe, I mean, this is not an exact quote, but we have somewhere around 270, 80, 90 majors and about 60, 70 minors. And, they're progressing. So at any given point, a senior class will count somewhere between 35, 40 to maybe 50 students, and that's how it filters itself as they're taking classes. It's a normal practice that various classes are taken by various generations. For example, I have both lower division class that I'm teaching right now in an undergraduate program, which is Theater 111, Introduction to Performing to Performance, and I also teach Stanislavski technique, which is upper division class. In all of these classes, I have the lower one is freshman, occasionally sophomore, because it's a required class. Up there, I have from sophomore to seniors in the class, because it's based on the requirement. You always have to take some prereq class to advance. But auditioning beyond the first audition when they are applying for the program, auditions for the shows and for that senior showcase class, I don't believe we have any other classes for which the audition is required.
Is there a requirement to be in a play within the pedagogy department for the student, a student in the pedagogy would be required to be in one performance before the end of the, do you have something like that?
You as a master student, your candidates, no, you are not. We actually the only plays that are open for the graduate students to audition if they want, we have in the summer. We have a summer Shakespeare festival called Shakespeare on the Bluff, because our university is located on the top of a beautiful bluff. It's actually one of the nicest campuses you can find in the United States. They vote as top 10 campuses always. And we have a beautiful open air stage in front of our library with a nice open space, grassy space. And we do Shakespeare on the Bluff. It's open to anybody, but it's usually a lot of LMU students and alumni, and that is open for graduate students too. But there is no, because we are not performance masters, we are not MFA in performance or acting, we are in performance pedagogy. So where your focus lies, we do have opportunity in directing. We'll talk about that a little later. You take directing classes, and you take also you can use directing for your directing projects for your senior thesis, in which you can direct undergraduate students in separate projects as in your thesis. But no, there is no the MFA candidates in performance pedagogy. There is no acting involved in that sense.
Okay.
You muted yourself again, Nino.
And I unmuted myself because I have you, Matt, and that's why you helped me. And thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about the curriculum for your program. So the curriculum itself centers around theories and practices of actors training. And it's all about the gaining a hands-on experience on working in the classroom. Some of you said, I really want to learn. I think it was Valeria who said, I really want to learn how to teach. I know how to act, but I want to learn to teach. So that's where our focus lies. It's a very practical program. And there is, the curriculum is kind of divided into classes which are core group of classes, which really prepare you to teach acting. And then on the top of that core, meaning core are the classes that you have to take, there is a number of electives that are offered that students can focus on kind of specific particular areas of interest for their further development. That can be directing, that can be coaching actors, that can be teaching various specialized acting classes, counting from everything like voice, stage combat, coaching, specific techniques in teaching acting, etc. We offer various, we're going to go and I can show you later specifically what kind of classes I offer. So basically, we want to equip you and train you and educate you more towards, regardless of what your ambition is. And we heard very different ambitions here, why people want to be involved. But if you want to open your own acting studio, you will conquer ground. If you want to teach in a community college, if you want to teach in a high school, if you want to work with children, if you want to go in a higher level and teach in a graduate level, we believe that we are offering that diverse training that can equip you in all of that direction. But it's really, the focus is on teaching acting and performance. That's where it goes. Acting and performance. So to get your degree, let's say, as I said, you can do that in a full-time situation. In 3 years will then take you, that is, you need to take 20 classes, which will count in the 60 credit hours of be a functioning theater department. LMU has various, it varies from college to college, some are on the 4 credit hour system, some are on a 3 credit, we are on the 3 credit hour system. So you would have to take 20 classes, 3 credit each, to fulfill that obligation. There are 7 core courses that you have to take. There are 2 thesis classes, and they have to be taken in a 3rd year, one in the fall, one in spring. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. And then remaining credits would be fulfilled through 11 different elective classes. These 11 are coming for, I believe we have at any given point anywhere between 25 and 30 classes of it. We'll go through the current list so you can see how you can really, what I was talking about before, individualize it towards your own need. What do you want? What do you expect? What do you believe would work for you? So we can maybe go now, and let me just open up that over here. Let me see, and let's check core classes first. I would have to share my screen. Just a second. Why doesn't let me share my screen? Just a second. Hold on just a second. Alicia, do you know if you're still there? I would like to share my screen, but I don't see when I go to share screen. Oh, I got it. I got it. No worries. Here we go. Okay, can everybody see this? Yep. Good. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 core classes that you would have to take, and they go somewhat in this order as they are put here as a level, you see, from 6,000 to 6,800. So the first class to take is the Theater 6000 Seminar Introduction to Theater Pedagogy. It's an intro class, and basically introduction is to methodologies, challenges, and issues in teaching in general, and in teaching theater in particular. So the class is dedicated to the phenomenon of teaching, the various aspects of teaching and what does that mean, and then it shifts more specifically towards teaching in theater arts in particular. That is the first core class that needs to be taken. The next one is research in writing in theater. This is to learn how to carry out academic research on a graduate level in order to write about the history, theory, and practice of performance. And students write several smaller and then large research style papers. So it's really about academic writing. one of the things that you will experience, even if you teach practical things like acting, is that there is a lot of note-taking, paper writing, analysis, script analysis, and many of you may end up teaching stuff like that. So this is a very crucial and important class to improve on your previous skills, undergraduate skills, in whichever, regarding the research, regarding usage of library, regarding usage of resources in a theater, and in a modern time acting classes, how to master these skills and how to apply them the best in a sense of pedagogy. The next class is Issues in Theater Pedagogy. And this is basically a continuation of your Intro to Theater Pedagogy. It is just basically risen on a higher level, because at this point, you would probably already be in your second semester at a 3-year program. There's a lot of research, discussion about the pedagogy in practice and in theory, but specifically on the college and university level. It really focuses on that university level, on that higher level of teaching for which you will be accredited after you get your MFA in Performance Pedagogy. Theater 6300 is the seminar. It's a teaching acting, and several of us faculty here at LMU are teaching that class. So there is a variety of approaches that you can get to that. That's one of the classes that I also happen to teach, not every semester, but in some of the semester. And this is really exploring issues that are very specific to teaching acting, and examines various different acting classes. It usually dedicates also, what this class cover is, that class is always hopefully taken before you go and have an opportunity to teach one of your beginning acting classes for non-majors. In this class, there's a whole section in which we, faculty, helps you structure your syllabus, discuss the issues of teaching in that environment, really focusing on that. But it can also be aimed towards scene study, towards voice and movement, etc. All the aspects of teaching acting. It also considers issues and problematics regarding teaching acting in a various different settings. Because, for example, we were mentioning, there was a question moments ago coming from Rahab regarding shows that we put here. Yes, we have a full season, and we do stuff from smaller plays, dramatic plays, to big musicals. But these are usually 2 weeks runs, between 6 and 8 performances. But the primary cause always stays teaching within them. So when we direct here, those of us who do direct in the program, or even if we bring a guest director, one of the aspects work with the undergraduates, even in that environment, is for them to learn about how is the show made, what does it mean to be a part of the professionally run production, because we do equip everything. We have a fully equipped costume shop, fully equipped scene shop, light shop. We have people who teach all these specific things. So teaching acting in a different setting is an important aspect. It can also address the teaching for camera, even though there's a very specific class. When there's a section, one of the electives you can take is teaching acting for the camera, for example. But that can be addressed. Teaching in online situation, which became very active and one point predominant way of teaching acting during the pandemic, etc. This also has a practical element to this class. Students are invited to be with the faculty who teaches the class in the environment of the classroom, to observe and to follow. It can be with the faculty who teaches the class, or it can be with other faculty in the program who teach various other classes. So it's not the TA function, in which when you are TA, when you're teaching assistants, you are actively participating in work as assistant to the faculty, but here you have a opportunity to observe other faculty in the program work with the undergraduate programs on a level that also depends on the schedule, which class you can attend, what allows, etc. It's a very dynamic and a practical class. The next one that is a core class is the Theories of Acting and Directing. That's an academic seminar. That's a theory class. and covers various grounds and fields in directing and acting. As you can see here on the list, Aristotle, Diderot, Brecht, Stanislavski, Chekhov, Grotowski, Suzuki, but it's really not limited to this. It's open to new influences, newer approaches to teaching, to various theories of acting and directing. It is absolutely an international and historical overview of these two crafts, of the crafts of acting, of the craft at directing. It's a very comprehensive class and demanding class. They're all very demanding in a sense. Then there is a directing class, which is a core class, and that's a very practical class about the process of directing a play. It's as simple as that. What do we need to do to direct the play? Some of you may have experience. I believe, Matt, that you mentioned that you directed. Many of you worked with the kids. You know, directing is as the most complex of all the, probably, I shouldn't just judge that, but let's say probably one of the most complex assignments in theater. And various techniques and processes are presented to students, practically work with students. And the culmination of the class is direction of scenes and one acts that then have a public presentation. And you can work in a different ways. I don't teach that particular class, so I can't speak fully about it, but you can work with each other. You can work with some undergraduate students, but the scenes are worked and the one acts are worked. And final core class that you have to take is a collaborative process. Collaborative process in which is the underlining factor that theater is a collective art, and that all elements, that it functions the best with all elements merge together, meaning acting and directing and designing in every sense, costuming, set, makeup, music, sound, every single thing. A very comprehensive class. It comes logically at the end, towards the end. Usually it will be taken in your third year. So that's a very quick overview. I'm practicing my voice and diction skills over here. Are there any specific questions that any of you may have regarding this right now?
I have a
Yes,
question.
Matt. Yes.
Yeah, I might have two, but I'll start with one. Specifically about the theories of acting and directing. I believe it said that was a seminar class.
Yes, it's right here.
Yeah, theories of yeah. So I'm just out of curiosity, is that like, I'm trying to think of time and what the basic structure of the class is. Is that like a history lesson in all of those brilliant minds? Is there a practical element to that class? What is if you know, what is like the makeup of that class as a structure? I'm curious. I don't know if I'm wording that well.
I do not teach that class. I do not teach that class, so I wouldn't go really in the structure of the class. But it is obviously historical to the point it has to be. But then it really goes to the influence and the importance of each of the. It will really depend on who teaches the class. Where do they want to go with it? Because it would be pretty complicated, let's say, to try to cover all of this that's just listed over here, right?
Yeah.
So I think like any of these classes, for example, if you also take, and you would have to, if you take teaching acting class, it will really depend on the teacher that you are taking. Within there are 3 or 4 of us who teach the class, depends who you're going to end up with. So this would really depend of the teachers. So what I can do for you, Matt, I can check with specific teachers at given point who teach this class and send you their email, and you can check exactly how they're structuring the class. But knowing our program, I would say that the class is an overview, that the certain moments are chosen, and then there's an overview and deep analysis of influence of these theoretical approaches that are then later put into practice. Because if you, for example, see just an example of these are all practitioners of theater. Aristotle is the most, Aristotle on this list would be the most theoretical one with his theory, and Diderot as well. But if you take Brecht, Stanislavski, Chekhov, Grotowski, Craig, Suzuki, Strasberg, Spolin, Adler, Meisner, Antoine, Meyerhold, Kazan, Brook, Klurman, Tagore, they're all practitioners. So you would definitely get into maybe not practicing it in that class, but what and how to be applied in practice would be heavily emphasized. And that, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But I can definitely share a couple of emails if you put your email later in the chat. I can share the names, and you can send. And just out of curiosity, said potential MFA candidate in performance pedagogy. Would you tell me how do you approach it? I think that would be totally okay.
And if I may, that sounds awesome. If I may, I have a similar question, just point blank, about the collaborative process class. It sounds like a great class. I'm curious to know what the structure of that class is like, whether that's
it would be
yeah.
you would be from how our program has to offer, it can be through the practicum, it can be while the show is done, kind of being a part of that and seeing how the collaborative process works from the beginning to an end. It would be something in conjunction again with the teacher, how they would exactly structure it. But we do offer classes in all these fields. We have faculty in lighting design, in costume design, in set design. We have the staff, full-time staff, which is dedicated to these. So visiting those, working with those, and seeing how they come together in the production would be a way to do that.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. I'll put my email in there. Thank you.
Please do. Please do.
I took something like a stage managing class at Cal State LA.
Sure.
And you have to sit in with the whole team when you're putting on a play. The designers are there, the technique, the lights, everybody just sits in. They look at the script. What did the playwright want? What we're going to do with this, blah, blah, blah. So this is basically just how a production is put on. You have to have a team of all kinds of people there. And it starts at the very beginning when you decide on what play you're going to pick to do. And so that's the collaborative from what I gathered at a class that I took at Cal State LA to send back to NYU, because I was minus a course. So they let me complete it at Cal State LA, and I wound up being a stage manager. And I'm telling you, there's no stress in the world like being a stage manager. You say the director, you want to hear some moans and tears and panic. Is there a course for stage managing within this?
We have various undergraduate courses for stage managing, and we have numerous students who are participants who develop great stage managing skills. I currently directed and co-produced a production Romeo and Juliet in Santa Monica Playhouse here in Santa Monica. And I have two stage managers. One is our alumni who graduated from our program in 2015, I believe. And the other one is a current student, and they're both great. We do have stage managing classes. Stage managing is definitely there as a part of this collaborative process class. So it's unavoidable. And you are absolutely right. It's one of the most responsible and most stressful jobs you can have in theater. I totally agree with that. Dismissing directors completely and giving it to stage managers in this very second. But yes, the stage managing is absolutely touched. And but we actually pride ourselves. We always have really solid stage managers coming from our undergraduate program, and it's a very popular class that students are taking. And as I said, LMU, this education of the whole person, which is in the university mission. In our college, we are part of the College of Communication and Fine Arts, CFA. We belong to that college. That's so ingrained in the mission of each department and stuff. It comes together, and all of our undergraduate students has to take. They must take all the classes. So our technically oriented student must take an acting class, actors must take technology class and craft class, etc. like this. I'm sorry, something is ringing in my house. I need to take that out. Sorry about that. So absolutely, stage managing plays a role in that, and in the collaborative process. Any further questions on this? Yes, please, Valeria.
Could you explain, does the number, I mean, 6,000 and something else, mean something specific? I mean,
Yes.
is it the order, or maybe it's just the level of difficulties?
Let's say both. I mean, basically in the United States, the way you mark classes, they always have this CRV number before. This one for LMU, the way we structure them, the fact that there are 4 numbers in it, that's 1,000 level, that means it's a graduate class. Because our undergraduate classes are marked with the 3 number, 3 from 111, which is beginning level, then 200 is a kind of sophomore level, 300 is a junior level, and 400 is a senior level, first, second, third, and fourth. But this really means in order you should take them, because sometimes they should be required to take this one and that one and that one, and then they grow in the sense of comprehensiveness, basically. But there is no particular rule, but they are structured in this order based how we who are structuring the program and how the program is structured think in which way the classes should be coming to you. I will later go to present you the sample schedule, how to complete the program, let's say in 3 years, and then you will see how the classes fit in there. But 6,000 level means it's a graduate level class. It's not an undergraduate class. Okay. All right. Any other questions at this point? All right. So then let's keep moving. Thesis. Thesis, as you can see, it's 6,900 level here. Thesis is something that you obviously do at the end. It's a kind of capstone experience in which you are presenting a project created in your mind, but through your definition and through your vision, through your skill. They can really vary in various ways, and they are stretched to both semester in your final year, meaning in the fall of your final 3rd year, you would usually do, because it's a creative project, and it would demand a written research for the project. And then based on that written research, you will have a practical application. So that research part is usually done, not usually, it should be done in the fall of your final year. And then the practical part, it can, let's be directing a play, that would be done in the spring semester. But the projects can really vary. Students, I mean, you all came with the certain things that you explore, that you want to do. They can be aimed towards something like that. They can be structured as an outside project, which is put in this context. They can be structured within the LMU. It really depends how you approach what your field of interest is. And we had students coming up from directing a play with, let's say, undergraduate student at LMU, finding the way to organize. We help as much as we can in these projects, but it can be something else. It can be specifically dedicated to pedagogy in the movement, teaching movement, or pedagogy in teaching vocal techniques and voice, or and various things as they connect to your field on performance pedagogy. But it's a very comprehensive. And then there is also the final presentation of your MFA thesis in front of committee, which is usually structured. I sit on those committees. It's a structure as a conversation. It's not in that official, you know, in the old days, they used to say, I'm defending my thesis. We don't structure it like that. It is really sharing and celebrating your work. You do have to have your research thesis prepared, written part prepared and documented. That later, as your degree gets awarded, gets documented in the LMU library and stayed there as an archive and documentation as a terminal degree achieved in our university. But it's a combination of both. It has a research, creative written part done in the fall, and then practical part that needs to be executing during the spring of your final year, which would be the 3rd year of studies, considering that you are a full-time student. If you are part-time students, then that would come whenever that comes in the way of structuring the program. Any question about the thesis? All right, if there comes, you can read. So let's go to the electives, which is kind of this exciting kind of fun part of the program. I mean, they're all fun, but there's a choice. There's a choice you're making. So as you can see here, you have to take 33 units, which is 11 courses from the elective list. This elective list changes. We add classes. Sometimes we change. We propose different classes. It's refreshed and brought in by the different faculty. For example, teaching beginning acting, teaching specialized acting course. And that's, Matt, what I was mentioning before, that will really depend on who teaches your class, right? Some people, we sometimes offer teaching acting for camera, or we often teaching Stanislavski technique, or we offer really various classes that can touch any aspect. So that class will depend. So if you are here 2 or 3 years, 2 years, you can when you meet the faculty, you can kind of choose which way you want to go, what is closest to your interest, and what is what offers Meisner or whatever. Theater 6355 techniques in 6350 techniques in actor coaching. That's a class that I teach. This is really focusing on coaching actors, meaning helping actors to achieve very specific results in a specific field, meaning either in auditioning, either in preparing a scene, or either working on a character for a specific movie or a show, etc., etc., etc. Somebody raised hand. Yes, Serena.
Yeah, sorry, I'd wanted to know ideally how many years for the program.
I'm sorry, what?
I wanted to know how many years to study the program.
3 years if you're enrolled full-time, 2 full semesters per year, but we allow students to do part-time. So anywhere between 4 and 7 years you can take to complete the program if you're studying part-time.
Well
But the
noted.
full-time schedule means 3 years.
Well noted. Thank you.
Techniques in teaching acting for film, television, and new media, creative process, plays right center stage, writing the ensemble, the right performance. There's a number of really, I think, wonderful classes that can be taught, that can be taken in the sense of mastering and calibrating particular skills that you think you need to be the best possible pedagogue in the field. Any questions about anything, any of these classes or the structure? No. Okay, then let's keep moving forward. I'm gonna stop the share now for a moment. Just
might have one question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's say you wanted to take a summer to go study or with a theater company, or work with a theater company for the summer. Could that, not that necessarily you might want it to be that, but could that be an elective?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
That's a
Cool,
very
cool.
good question. I'm not certain. I'm pretty certain if it's a certified, it depends on what kind of company it is and what exactly you would be doing there in the sense of pedagogy. I personally don't, frankly, I never had a case like that, so I don't know. But some of my colleagues who know, I can get back to you with this because it would, I can tell you right away that it would have to go towards, it would somehow be connected with the performance pedagogy, right? So I don't know if, let's say, if you're casted in the show, that would, if you're really doing strictly acting work, right? But if the company has a teaching program, for the youth or whatever, and if you would engage with that, I don't see why not. How would that have to be structured as some kind of independent study class or something? I'm pretty much sure yes. I will take the liberty to say that. And actually, there were some, when I'm thinking about it, there were some similar classes and people, but it has to be in this field of pedagogy. But I can get back a little bit more detail in that, because what can you tell me what I got you, Diane, I'll get to you as soon as I'm done with Matt answering the question. What particularly would you have in mind when you say something like that?
Yeah, the dream scenario is Scott in Japan, like studying the Suzuki method with the Suzuki folk. Yeah.
So you are, in that case, a student who is exploring a certain technique. It can definitely be discussed and see under which angle could that be in there. But at this point, I would say every case like that would have to be decided on the individual basis. I'm going by sheer logic over here. I know that some independent study projects were approved in the sense, but the students were really doing pedagogical work, teaching work or stuff like that. So I would have to see that does it being a student on the receiving end somewhere else, but every individual option would be discussed. That I can guarantee you, because we do have that individual approach. If you come with the proposal, it will have an open ears, and then we will see how it goes.
Lovely, thank you.
Sure. Yes, Diana.
Along the same lines that Matt was talking about, I worked with a theater company this last summer on a production of Hamlet, where I was the stage manager and prompter, because they do it Ren style, as they call it. In other words, the same way that Shakespeare's company did, where the actors only got their part and a cue line to memorize. Yeah. They came together for 29 hours of rehearsal all together, rehearsed the evening, and then one weekend day, we opened, like that next weekend. And when they called for line from me, I sat to the side, because of course, when you're doing Shakespeare in the park, I can't sit underground. And when they called for line, they said, "Prithee." They'd say, "Prithee." Now the younger 20-somethings had their lines pretty much memorized, and the older people, he said "prithee" more often. But as people went along, of course, lines got more memorized. But it's like that would be an interesting study to write, a report about.
That sounds like something which is slightly unusual, and then it introduces a certain way of approaching Shakespeare, etc. Again, I would say any of these proposals would have to be individually shared with the faculty, and then the head of the program, director of the program, and the faculty would decide, is that particularly something that would fit in any kind of angle to this program, and that I'm sure it would be approved. If it not, then it probably would not.
I hope to work with them next summer as well. It was very interesting and very fun.
I'm encouraging you. It sounds like an interesting thing to do.
Don't mute yourself.
Yeah, I unmuted. Okay, so here we go now. The question that arose moments ago regarding full-time and part-time options. So basically, if you have full-time classes that you take in that semester, taken once per week, 1 day a week on weekdays or late afternoons or evenings or in the weekends. And this is because most of our students, if not all, work. They have, so the program is friendly structured in the afternoon, late afternoons and evenings. These are 2.5-hour long classes. And that's in the spring and fall semesters. In the summer, which is much more intense schedule in the 6 weeks, then you have 2 3-hour classes per week. And they're usually also in the afternoon. If you do 3 classes in fall and spring terms, and if you do 1 to 2 classes in the summer, you will graduate in the 8th semester, which is 2.5 years. So that 1 to 2 classes in the summer will decide. So the speediest you can go would be 2.5 years. The logical full time would be 3 years, and then part-time will be anything above that. There are options to stop, to continue. There are options to take certain amount of classes, but you can stretch as far as 7 years, as far as we are concerned, to get your degree. There is the information about the cost of the program. And give me 1 second. I'm gonna put that in the chat. Where is my chat now? Where's my God? There you go. There we go. And this is, no, this is to everyone. Meeting. Here you go. There is a link that you can follow and find the information about the finances. That's the best way to go after that. And then if you have specific question about that, you can call the office and check with them. This is also information about the financial aid that I put out there. Then application process, I can put that too. Just a second. There is an application process. Here we go. There we go. And basically, application process is this: you have to have a bachelor's degree from a 4 university or a college. The GPA of 3.0 and up is better preferred. Undergraduate major in theater arts or related discipline is expected, but it is not required. It doesn't have to be. Your undergraduate doesn't have to be in theater arts. We need 2 copies of your college transcripts. If you're an international student, which we do have a few cases here, you need TOEFL, which is test of English as the second language score that need be at 90 or better, with at least a score of 22 in 4 sections of speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And then we need 2 letters of recommendation, current resume, and a detailed statement why you're applying for an MFA program in pedagogy and what are your goals in regard to engaging and completing the program. Any questions about any of that? Nothing. Okay. Yes, Diane.
So our letter, is it like our mission statement?
You can have a mission in there, but it's really your letter should really focus. You can put your mission statement. What is your mission in the field of pedagogy? Why would you teach, and what is teaching meaning to you? But it's really really more about why applying for this specific field, and what are your goals regarding engaging and completing that degree? What do you want to do with it? And I heard from many of you that already all your mission statements and statements were there as you were introducing yourself today. Okay, so I would like to share one more thing. Just let me see here. I would like to show you like a sample curriculum. To see how does that look if you can you all see this? So this is kind of this would be a sample of a curriculum. How do you complete the program? So in the fall of your first year, you would have to take probably 3 classes, and the classes proposed here would be 2 core classes, the 3 core classes. 21 total units. You would take Seminar Intro to Theater Pedagogy, which is the first one, then Seminar Intro to Research and Writing, and Theories of Acting and Directing. And why are they proposing this here is because these are really base classes for the field of pedagogy, performance pedagogy. You want to get that introduction, you want to sharpen your skill in research and writing, definitely, and then go directly to Theories of Acting and Directing, because that's from these theories that most, and if not all, methods that we're going to be practicing and people practice in the classrooms are coming from. So this should be that opening semester in which you already take 3 out of the 7, of these core classes. Then in the spring, they would propose Seminar Teaching Acting. so that you can start at practical application and work, and then directing class, again, to broaden the skill even more so in a comprehensive way, and then a practical class teaching beginning acting, something that's just the class, how to teach that class. That's an elective. And then in the summer, they are proposing issues in theater pedagogy. And this is now, you are on that schedule to complete that. Right now, if you take one class in the summer, you're probably going to be on the pace to complete in 3 full years. Then the second year, they are proposing the collaborative process, teaching the specialized acting course, for example, scene study, or it can be camera study, or it can be a, when I taught this class last time, I actually enriched, I presented 3 different things. I put Stanislavski technique, Commedia dell'arte class, and teaching theater of absurd. So there were 3 fields that I was covering. It can be 1, it can be 2, it really depends. Then in the spring, they're proposing techniques in actor coaching. That's, for example, a class that would always be proposed in the fall, in the spring, because it involves collaboration with undergraduate students. Then you don't have in the summer, or not, you don't have enough of them. So that class would be there. And then another practical teaching beginning acting. If you haven't taken it before already, you can take a different class. In the summer, they propose advanced directing class, because directing is really incorporate into the whole teaching skills. Some of the best teachers of acting and performance are directors, and in the dance fields, let's say choreographers. And then in the final year, they are obviously, one of your classes will be thesis, that first research writing part, and then any kind of performance practicum. And that could be, if you are met in Japan, let's say, right, and you are involved in a Suzuki work, in which angle and how it had to be presented and approved, and you would have to be given a mentor from here. Who would you report to if you're in Japan on the Zoom and something, you have the sessions? But I would say in the performance practicum, something like that could be incorporated. Also, survey of the dramatic literature, very important elective class, which really, one of the things that we are all experiencing in the classroom is the huge diversification of the curriculum. Going out of the place when we all sat for decades, if not centuries, teaching a few playwrights, a few plays and stuff like that, diversifying, bringing new authors, bringing new aspects, bringing new literature. So survey of dramatic literature, I think it's extremely important class to take, for example. And then in your final spring semester, teaching, again, another specialized acting course, you can repeat these practicum classes. That's another perk. Practicum classes can be repeated for the second time if it's a different class. So you can't take camera twice, but you can take scene study and you can take camera practicum class. And then any additional elective out of that list that I showed you moments ago of 20-something classes that are offered, and complete the work on your thesis. So the difference will be, if you choose to do 2 classes per summer, then you will be done in 2.5 years. Let's say you started in the fall of certain year, 2.5 later in December, you would be graduating. If you took 1 summer class, you would be graduating in May. So that would be one of the samples. Obviously, it doesn't have to be this way. It can be structured differently, but these are the ways to go if you want to do. Now, any variation on the part-time studying is a variation of how to reach this number of 60 credits with those 7 core classes included as a must. And then that becomes, and for the financial reason, for the professional reason, for the time reason, for the scheduling reason, we do give that option to go as far as 7 years into the program as a part-time student. And as I said, the important thing to remember is that you can join the program at any point. You don't have to wait, okay, I didn't start this August, I have to wait next August. We have students starting the program in the summer or in the spring as well. Doesn't have to be in the fall. Okay, that is pretty much what I have at this stage. If anybody has any other questions or specific discussions that they would like to have, I'm available. So please go ahead. I can hear deep thoughts. Feel free at any point to reach out further. You can contact. You can just go through the website and contact the MFA program and MFA director, Dr. Kevin Wetmore. But you can contact me. I can also put my email over here. Give me 1 second. There you go. That's my email. You can contact me. You can contact the director of the program. Any questions, follow-up questions that can come to you. I know this is a lot of information going your way. We have a very good website. I'm assuming you all looked at it. All this information is there in a specific detail. And also, if you go slower now with this, having me throwing all of this at you, slower and considering some other questions may come to your mind, feel free to email, to ask, or try to have another session, etc. But we are available. As I said, LMU proud itself on that individual approach, and we are trying to accommodate everybody who shows real and genuine interest in our programs.
You have you put out a lot of good information here. It's just
I'm glad that
good.
it worked. I do want to mention 2 things. The connections always, when you were giving your introductions, I didn't want to slow it down. I did teach 1 semester back in 2001 at the PCPH in Santa Maria. I was teaching movement class for them 1 whole semester. That was at the beginning of my teaching career, so more than 20 years ago. And Inglewood is, I love Inglewood. I live in Santa Monica, so it's kind of fairly close. But my Clippers are bringing a new arena in the area, You hate Clippers? Is that what you're saying? No.
I'm Golden State Warriors.
Oh, my
Steph
son
Curry.
is insane Golden State Warriors fan. He's older. He's 27 now almost.
He's smart.
But that's a 1 and 2 teams. I'm Clipper
Clippers
Warriors.
are good. The Clippers are a good team too, though.
They're awesome team. I love my Clips. But they are coming to England.
I graduated from PCP in '89, so I went there.
Oh, there you go. That was way before me.
Way before you went there. Weren't you there when wasn't Mark Bohr?
Yeah, Mark Bohr was ahead then. Yes.
I was there when Jack Schaus was artistic.
Oh, that's
director.
way before. That's way before. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only 1 semester. They needed a visiting instructor for the movement class, and I proposed an interesting class. I love teaching that class. I later taught it at LMU for undergrads. It's a combination of Commedia dell'arte and Grotowski. So we use Grotowski to enter into Commedia and then specifically build characters. So it was kind of a fun thing to do. If that's it, I thank you for your time and joining this session. I really hope it was useful. As I said, you have the information.